Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ReCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
All right. What's going on, Delora?
I'm fabulous. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm over here sipping on a little rosé because we have a special guest, and I feel like I always like to be celebratory when we bring on special guests.
Absolutely. I love it. I'm so excited.
Well, we have on one of Delora's longtime friends, Jillian. What's going on, Jillian?
Not too much. I'm here in Mexico. Just really excited to speak to you all about what's going on, the hot topics that you guys have got planned. Really looking forward to discussing the Oscars.
Absolutely. So, Jillian, can you introduce yourself a little bit for us to the audience? I know that we are having you on specifically to discuss fashion, but why is that?
My name is Jillian Nathan, and I graduated from the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, and also from Bowling Green State University. I have a passion for fashion, but that's not what pays the bills. Currently, I'm an account director for a cultural marketing firm, but I feed my love of passion through social media and selling on Poshmark.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't pay the bills yet. That's always the caveat.
That's yes, you know. You can't always do what you love yet.
Yes, this podcast doesn't pay our bills either yet. So
yes. Exactly.
We're all working on those passions.
Mm-hmm.
What equity? That's what I like to call it.
Absolutely. Well, again, Jillian, thank you so much for joining us from Mexico. What part are you in, by the way? What part are you vacationing in?
I'm in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
I took French, so ask me about stuff over there.
Same. Jillian, you and I are on the same page. I'm like, the only thing I know how to say in Spanish is K-O-R-A-S.
Que hora es.
And I can't roll my R's. That's another thing. Like,
I can roll my R's. It's just like people automatically will speak Spanish to me, especially if I go to Florida. And I'm like,
Yep. Because living in Florida, you never know what someone necessarily is. And I think the default a lot of times is thinking you are Afro-Latina, living in this region. So I definitely understand. But I'm glad that you joined us. I hope you're sipping on some margaritas and having some good tequila while you're down in Mexico.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we are going to get into just a few things today. As you already mentioned, definitely the Oscars. But first up, I wanted to get you ladies' takes on a couple of headlines for today. So the first one being, as Beyonce fans, Cowboy Carter. Beyonce has officially released the album and artwork for Act 2 of her 3-part album that we're supposed to be getting. And it's going to come out March 29th, and she has dubbed it Cowboy Carter. What did you ladies think of the name and of the artwork?
I think it's a super cute idea. And then I love the Beyonce going country. I think it's going back to her roots. But I also think we have to take a minute and kind of pay homage to Nelly, because the collab with Tim McGraw kind of opened the door.
That crossover.
Yeah, for this whole crossover ministry that we're kind of experiencing now. I know Kate Michelle has tried it.
She has.
I'm not there for it 100%, but I think Beyonce, I'm really excited about it. I love the 3-part album idea, and I'm really interested in this next chapter because I skipped the Renaissance chapter. So this one I'm really looking for.
Really? What was it about the Renaissance chapter that didn't catch your attention?
The music was it was a lot of like dance, like clubbing kind of music, in my opinion. Felt like I wanted to Vogue, but I can't. It looks like I don't know. But I love the costumes and everything. Still love it, but we can't love them all. But yeah.
So what's your favorite Beyonce era?
I'm a big hair girl. So I love the big hair and the earrings. So I would have to go with Beyonce, with Sean Paul crawling on the beach, shaking her
Also,
hips.
B-Day.
Baby boy.
Yeah.
B-Day
Yeah.
album.
Okay. Yeah.
That was my
So
favorite.
early Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Boy was my song. So I
Yes.
get that.
Yeah.
Cowboy Carter. Well, I thought that was interesting. I mean, she loves being called Mrs. Carter. So that was like on the nose for me. But I think it's interesting. I was looking at this article from Yahoo News. It says TikToker poses compelling theory about Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album title and themes. And this young lady talks about the Carter family, and they were known in the early 20th century of appropriating Black and brown music in the country space. And essentially, Beyonce is reappropriating it for Black folks. And if this is the case, I'm here for it. Like, I know Beyonce is very methodical with what she does when it comes to her different eras and, you know, album drops and things like that. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know it went that deep. So if this is true, I'm impressed. And I look forward to Dolly was out here talking about Jolene might be on the record, and I am here for it because we love Dolly Parton on this podcast, okay? And Dolly, we trust, okay?
She's giving a lot of books because to our community.
And if Beyonce can do even half to Jolene what Whitney Houston did for "I Will Always Love You," I mean, win-win. You know what I'm saying? Right. Win-win.
Exactly. So the cover art, it's giving rodeo, and she's always winning something, whether it's a pageant.
That's what immediately came to mind to me. Yes, that's what immediately. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's a through line from kind of the pageantry of it, even more than just necessarily the country part. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an homage to how she kind of started too, because she was giving us the pageant girl with the flowy hair, the big earrings, costume jewelry, the dresses and everything. So it's a blend. That's Texas.
Yeah,
like Texas. That's very Texas. And I have to say, we talk about this on the podcast all the time. Beyonce is the celebrity, okay? And what I have enjoyed with her projects like The Gift from The Lion King, it really did introduce a lot of us to the Afrobeats community, so much so that Afrobeats is a mainstay in our popular music these days. I don't know how long that wave is going to last, but I know I'm riding it, and I'm riding it strong. Okay, Burna Boy is one of my favorites. Ari Sar,
yeah,
love her. Davido, love him. Like, I have my faves. Tim's, come on now. So what I am appreciating about this whole country era is the come up of country artists like our girl Mickey, first Black woman to have a #1 on the country charts in, like, I think ever. Mickey Guyton. And since then, I've gotten to know Raina Roberts, her 67 song, and then Tanner Adele with Buckle Bunny. I love that song so much. It's about, I'm gonna get your man in a ripped shirt or something like that. Like, I love it.
Talking trash with a little country twang.
Exactly. So I say all this to say, I appreciate that she's highlighting different genres, and in that process, bringing a lot of attention to people who've been doing it the best in that genre, and finally getting rightfully the praise and accolades that they deserve.
For sure. I know when I first heard the name or saw the name, I was like, feels a little generic to me, Cowboy Carter. But at the end of the day, I don't care, because it's all about the music. As long as the music is great, I don't care what she named this album, right? And as far as the visuals, it coincides with, what we've seen from Texas Hold'em and all that sort of thing in terms of giving you a little bit of country. And I'm just curious to see if we're going to get visuals for this, since we never got them for Renaissance. Like, are we going to get some music videos and some things for real, so that we can kind of chew on it a little more in terms of the theme of it all with being country? Because I love this experimental era that Beyonce is in with music, right? Like, I've been a Beyonce fan since Destiny's Child days. And so to have her at this point in her career where she can go from a dance album, techno kind of album to country to whatever the third act is going to be, I just think it's a really fun time for her to experiment musically and to do it well. So I'm just hopeful that the music is good, that we enjoy whatever this next project is going to be, and that country boots and hats are going to get a lift and be sold out across the country once these tour dates are announced.
I'm a sucker for Fringe. Okay, Fringe. I didn't realize how much I love Fringe until I said on the Renaissance tour, her and those Fringe boots, the silver ones.
Yeah.
Adore.
See, I already have the rhinestone cowboy boots. I got pink cowboy boots. I got real cowboy boots that I've had since high school. My senior year of high school, I bought my first pair of Fry cowboy boots. The Durango
Fry,
style.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Fry.
The harness ones, and so I've been ready for this. I was waiting for Beyonce at the door, to be honest. My theory on the visuals is I think they're coming for sure, and I think that it's going to be very heavy in fashions that are designed by Pharrell, just because. Yeah, the Louis Vuitton collection has that whole Western theme. And she's already started pulling pieces from that runway collection already.
Oh, love that, gem. I also wanted to mention that Mama Tina, Mama Tina loves to have a word with everybody when they had something to say about her kids. So she was like, listen, we've been about this life. Beyonce, growing up in Texas, we've been a part of cowboy culture forever, Black cowboy culture specifically. She said that Solange did the whole album and project based on Black cowboy culture. So I just love that, it's a reinforcement of the fact that this is not just some gimmick that Beyonce's doing. Because to be honest, when Justin Timberlake did his last album, I was like, this feels so gimmicky. You know what I mean? Even you may be from Tennessee, but this doesn't feel true to you. And so, I just love that she's like, it's a callback to our roots. And Solange already kind of did it first. So,
especially with him doing his bebop and talking for decades, trying to get the Blacks on board. And I was seated.
Oh, yeah. Huge fan.
I invited him to the cookout, and then he got disinvited. He got disinvited. He showed up to the Super Bowl with that Goodwill outfit on, looking like a fool and doing the opposite of what he was supposed to do. I'm only a Justin Timberlake stan if he goes back to being Black. I don't want this old white man sings the blues. I don't care that nobody likes Jessica Biel. I don't care. I want Black Justin back with Pharrell.
I want the 2020 experience.
Or yes, I'll take that. I will take that. Anything that or before.
It comes down to the hair. He needs to either go back to the curly fro or go back to the low cut buzz cut.
Yeah.
And he'll be back in his element.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. It's the hair. It's got him confused and disoriented. I don't like it. Not about it.
It's like if Travis Kelce didn't have a fade anymore. It's like,
well, he's going through a period of whiteness for sure. Right now,
he doesn't know how to dress since he's been with Taylor, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Once he cut off like the full beard, he had just like the pedophile mustache almost.
Mustache, yeah. It was. I was like, oh, he's going through a crisis.
Yeah, I think that's a whole stunt. I think it's a stunt. I think it's a move, a branding move for him. I think, when she has cut her album talking about how he did her dirty and went back to the Black side, I think we'll get him back. I think that's going to be the album called He Went Back to Black.
He went back to Black. He's going to be Joshua Jackson 2.0.
Yeah. Because what are we
Y'all
doing?
are taking me out right now. I cannot.
Jillian's out here speaking facts because if something happens, there will be a full album. You are correct. It's publicized this. And yes, he's taking this all the way to the bank. Didn't him and his brother just get like best podcast of the year for something?
He's producing his first movie. This is the retirement fund setup for sure.
He's playing the
This man
game
knows
well.
what he's doing, and he's playing it all well. And the little girls are buying the friendship bracelets and buying his jersey. I say, keep buying that man's jersey, thinking that that's a white man. And when he goes back to the black side, and you're all confused and don't know what he's talking about or what he's wearing, can't help you.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you for those hot takes. Let's move on to, it's kind of a piggyback from last week. We were talking about Kate Middleton, and Delora, I know you are more of a royal watcher than me, so I didn't have a whole lot for this. I was like, I don't think the girl's dead, but whatever's happening,
the internet is running wild right now.
It's getting weird because you already have this whole narrative of she's missing. Now we have Photoshop fails. Okay.
Girl.
It was Mother's Day in the UK. So they put out this photo that apparently was like approved by Buckingham Palace.
They put it out. Yeah.
Only for major publications to retract the photo and say, this has been altered. We're not running with this photo. She ended up coming out with a statement basically saying, oh, you know, I'm an amateur photographer. I occasionally experiment with editing. I want to express my apologies for any confusion about the photo we shared yesterday. I hope everyone celebrating had a very happy Mother's Day. And then closed it with a C, as if that's supposed to mean that it's you and you're alive and well, because anybody could have typed this. Anybody could have typed this, ma'am. And then you have another photo now that's come out of her and William riding in a vehicle, but you can only kind of see her in silhouette. And people are still speculating this has been altered because it looks like the brick is different when you look at the top of the photo and the brick that you can see when you're actually looking through the window of the car. So ladies, where in the world is Kate Middleton? Is she okay? Is the question.
So I think it's important to understand why people are obsessed with this right now. This woman, up until that BS paparazzi shot from literally a couple of weeks ago, her sitting on the passenger side of her mama's ride.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah, March 4th. Everybody was thinking weekends at Bernie's anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
no, weekend at Bernie's.
Because it didn't really look like her. It's grainier than all the other previous Paps pictures she's ever had. And before
it's 2024, there was no reason for it to be grainy. So.
Exactly. And before March 4th, people have not seen her since December 25th. So why are we obsessed with this? Is because the royal family does not have the greatest track record protecting women in that institution.
No.
It's to the point where people already know what happened to Diana, and it was no accident, if you know what I mean. And we saw what they did to Meghan, and thank God that Prince Harry was there and actually loves his wife.
That
and
part.
took care of her and got her out of that toxic situation. The way that either this woman is totally unwell, or I think they may be getting divorced. That's a whole nother conversation, and she's not cooperating with them. She didn't write that message. No one with sense Buckingham Palace has never backtracked on anything like that ever, right? It's keep calm, carry on. I think their other favorite saying is something and don't explain. Like, they don't explain themselves. And that Frankenstein of a picture, okay, looked very suspect in light of that grainy ass picture, and then also not seeing her since December 25th. Where is the picture with her in real time, or with a newspaper with the current date?
Right, just holding up
situation.
Yeah,
it is that dire. The fact that they are throwing her under the bus in this way proves that something's not right. Something's not right, because supposedly William took that picture.
I'm gonna have to say, I think she's somewhere. I think she got her body done. That was the first thing I thought. I said she had them kids. She's trying to get her body done. And the first one they said she was having a stomach surgery or whatnot. I said, oh, she's getting a mommy makeover. So I'm gonna have to go. She's getting a mommy makeover, and she is somewhere sitting comfortably, getting her massages every day, wearing her fascia,
the lymphatic,
her lymphatic drainage. It's just stuff everywhere. She's sitting in a beautiful spa right now, just waiting to like pop out on us, because what was that one girl, that country singer that was on American Idol that kind of did a similar thing?
Carrie Underwood
Carrie
with the face.
Underwood.
She's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I
she
fell
said she
and got
fell.
my
Yeah.
nose done, quote
And
unquote.
no, I popped out with a whole different face, sis. No. So I think this is going to be, I popped out and I got a whole different body.
That's not a far-fetched guess. I said the same with wondering what the abdominal surgery situation was. If they say, oh, it's not any like cancer necessarily life-threatening, I'm like, well, she did have 3 kids, so she may be like, hey, I got to keep it tight, keep it together. Now, if she pop out with a BBL, though, they know they are fooling, right? Like, hopefully, whatever has been done, whatever may be happening, we keeping it to them white beauty standards, and not getting too crazy. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I just hope she's fine, inevitably, because it's like all this hoopla. Don't let the child be somewhere not okay for real. And people have been speculating, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm always wondering when this type of stuff happens, is it your health? Like, are you in a health crisis? And then the next thing we find out, you're dead. Because this is, Delora, this is a weird era because we don't know what this new monarchy under Charles really looks or feels like. You had our whole lifetimes, the lifetimes of our parents, there was Queen Elizabeth who steered the ship, and she steered it with the iron fucking fist, right?
And apparently it was necessary, because the fact that I literally saw a Times magazine cover that came out literally today that says the monarchy cannot be trusted. This is the worst PR they've had in a very long time. Under a new regime, this is some of the most delicate times when establishing leadership and forming the public's opinion of you. You know what I mean? And so I was like, no wonder Lizzie kept the power as long as she did. She's like,
not you calling her Lizzie. Not you calling.
I know, like they're on a first name basis.
Calling Queen Elizabeth Lizzie.
They're right there.
Even her husband had to bow. I mean, come on.
Okay, the crown.
Yes.
But I'm serious. Like she probably knew he didn't have what it was needed to be the king that this monarchy needs. And like, yes, why do Black people care about the monarchy? We really don't, because we already know what it is. But for me, I'm a child of Diana. I have followed her children. And this is, Kate Middleton, I did like her for a time because she was a quote unquote commoner who married a prince, right? Until the Black one came in and told us what it was really all about, which is not surprising. I mean, these people colonized the world. What do we expect them to have, a heart?
No. Heartless.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll hear more about this once she finally does make her grand reappearance, which I think you said Dolores not supposed to be till June when she's scheduled for her next public appearance.
First, it was supposed to be after Easter, but they've extended it. So I don't know what they're doing. How about that? Because they obviously don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing either. But if anybody in the royal situation, they need some crisis PR, please feel free to give me a call. I could try to dig you out of this. I think maybe the getting your body done, that might be the best way to go at this point, because and then I had a mental health situation, and say that you just maybe didn't want to go full blown Britney Spears, so you had to take some time away. Just say that.
Ooh. These are all good options for
I agree.
Olivia Pope, as we'll have to call you for the rest of the pod. So thank you for those hot takes and headlines, ladies. Let's move on to our hot topic, the Oscars, darling. So let's start off first with the winners, then we'll discuss our top moments, and then last and certainly not least, the fashion. So the Oscars happened this past Sunday, which, first of all, did y'all know the Oscars were an hour early? Because shocked the hell out of me.
I sure did, because now I no longer have cable, so I'm not able to watch E-News, red carpets like I used to. It used to be like a whole event on Sunday.
Started the afternoon, went into the late night.
So I was thinking, let me get seated at 7 so I can watch the red carpet on ABC. And it was like, oh no, sis, it's starting now. And I was like, I'm here for it because it's always going over. But it was an adjustment. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, so what does this mean? Does that mean we're not going to have like riskier jokes, or is it going to be more PG? They had the special episode of Abbott Elementary shortly after. I don't know. I was surprised by it.
I wondered if any of it had to do with the fear of like people showing up and protests, because I know they were setting up those barricades and everything. I wonder if they wanted to have that kind of out of the way earlier to kind of eliminate that disruption. So I was just thinking maybe it had something to do with that.
It could be,
Also,
because I heard there were still some protesting that
absolutely.
happened.
I also feel like they have a longer delay so that another Will Smith, Chris Rock incident wouldn't happen live in real time. Even though I think it was Will Packer that produced that one. It was a black. Yes. I'm like, sir, y'all couldn't just commercial.
Y'all
like,
couldn't just keep it together for this blackety black.
It could have been the best, worst kept secret ever. Like, what happened?
Oh yeah. Would have been very
Same
Hollywood
reason why we didn't have a black
dark.
Super Bowl.
Girl, a lot of people felt like this year was rigged because of that. Not because of Will Smith, but it would have been too black with Detroit and freaking Baltimore
and Usher.
Yeah,
my heart would have been so full, but yeah.
Well, I also think what threw me was it was daylight savings on Sunday as well. So it was like I'm already an hour ahead and have lost that time, and now this is also creeping up, because I remember seeing the red carpet starting at like 6, and I was like, wait, what is going on? So I was out at a dinner. I'm like, okay, I'm watching the red carpet, I'm listening to y'all, but I got to get back because I got to do the podcast on this, so I need to watch. So hopefully if you caught it, you caught it. Jimmy Kimmel hosted. What do you guys think of his hosting abilities? Because it's been some tough hosting stints lately. So what y'all think of Kimmel?
He doesn't disappoint. I'm indifferent, just because I think that I get the job. I get the fact that you can't go too far because you'll be polarizing, but you also have to feel out your audience. And I guess that's just in general part of being a good stand-up comedian. And I guess it's also familiarity with you.
He's done
so that's been an issue with other people before, but with him, people are familiar, they're comfortable, they watch his show, they're like, whoop, whoop.
That's a great point. I felt like he was testing the waters, though. I was like, did he get a little bit of Ricky Gervais going on, especially with the way that, I'm going to frankly say it this way, he had tagged Robert Downey Jr.
But they're besties. They're besties. Yes. So they are really good friends in real life. So I feel like the difference between him and Joe Coy, for one, Joe Coy, I don't think he's in the in crowd with the A-list, right? And so I think you have to, if you're going to be like Kimmel and you're going to still go after people, it's best to go after people will be cool with your jokes, right? It's best to go after people who like, if I jab you, it's not going to be a write-up tomorrow about what a piece of shit I am. So I do agree. It's the familiarity of doing the show, but also I think with knowing the folks that he's going after.
Well said, but me not being fully aware of his relationship with Robert. Obviously, I know his relationship with the Boston Boys. I'm referring to Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. This is the biggest night for Robert Downey for finally winning the Oscar, and you bring up his ugly past. Now, yes, it's
messy boots.
It's a wonderful journey, but it just felt like digs. And then when he made the joke about Christopher Nolan having a porn addiction, I'm like, he's a director. Okay, is he going to appreciate this joke because he doesn't have any access to the internet when he does his writing or whatever? And so I was a little concerned. I'm like, hopefully they're not out here clutching the pearls.
I thought he did a good job. It was fun to me. It was funny. I got laughs, right? It wasn't the cringy, like, oh, is this going to land? Is this going to stick? Is this going to be okay? It seemed like between him and we had so many great performances and interludes kind of in the mix, I think it made the show go fairly smoothly, especially when you look at, again, some of the other award shows and things that have happened. So I thought Kimmel held it down. And he does the ABC upfronts every year, so I already kind of knew what to expect, but still not necessarily. So I thought he did good. Winners. It was a big night for two films that we talked about already on the podcast, Oppenheimer and Poor Things. Okay,
Yep.
Oppenheimer won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Score, Best Cinematography, Best Editing. I mean, okay. Poor Things, Best Actress, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Costume Design, which I was
That's
upset.
so sweet.
Best Production Design. I was upset because we talked about this. Some of these I felt should have gone to Barbie.
Easy, especially production.
I was a little upset. Now, I have seen Poor Things. I watched it yesterday. And yes, the production design was fantastical, which I love. It kind of gave me a little bit of it gave me a little bit of Tim Burton vibes. I could see it kind of set in his world. Storyline was not for me. Storyline was not for me at all. But it is what it is. Big winners. American Fiction winning Best Adapted Screenplay was a moment.
I screamed. I was not expecting it. I was happy for it. I screamed. I loved it so much. That and documentary short film, The Last Repair Shop. My boy Chris Bowser, one of my favorite composers, winning a freaking Oscar. I screamed. He's famous for writing the scores for all of Bridgerton, Queen Charlotte, Space Jam, the movie that Mahershala won his second Oscar for, where he played the pianist.
Don't ask me the names and stuff, but I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
I can't think of it.
When I saw him on that stage, I screamed. So yes, shout out to Black folks winning Oscars.
Divine Joy Randolph was one we expected, but her speech was so moving.
Yes.
And beautiful. There were a few emotional moments. She was emotional. Emma Stone was emotional. Was there any moments that you guys felt was like heartfelt, or you're like, oh, love that?
I'm always just there to see the fashions. I watch the clips after, a clip or two here and there. I just want to know who's going to wear what, because chances are you're going to win something later and probably say something similar and gag and cry. But yeah.
All pomp and circumstance, huh?
Yeah.
Well, did you watch the awards, Laura?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know, because I realized I didn't ask that up front. Like, did you guys actually sit through the whole thing? Because I don't always sit through the whole thing either, but I did.
It's the Oscars, so yes, I do. I think I make the exception really for the Oscars and maybe the Grammys. Everything else is like up for grabs.
You know, me and the Grammys got beef, but
yeah, I know. So my favorite takeaways of the entire ceremony were the pairings of former cast members of like beloved movies we've seen growing up. So we had Beetlejuice, you had
right in time for this sequel that has been long delayed and long awaited.
Yes. And Catherine O'Hara. We had twins. And then they talked about their connection to Michael Keaton, which I also loved.
Yep. Even though, to be
Danny
fair,
DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
To be fair, during the speech, I literally was like, but it was George Clooney with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's okay. Like, that was my first thought. I was like, yes, it's Batman, but let's be 100%. But, you know,
twins was the initial connection.
I know. I was just like, that was a little petty. But we know, if you know, you know. That was George Clooney. But anyway.
And when I tell you, I didn't realize I laughed so hard. But freaking John Cena was hilarious, butt ass naked on that stage.
Did you see your boy Blake saying this is the new look? More skin for men. This is the new look.
Well, I always, whenever I see John Cena, I immediately just have to go to the fact that, do y'all know that man had a hair transplant?
No. Mm-hmm. I mean, Our boo Ryan Gosling had fillers before the ceremony.
His cheeks are looking hella plump.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Ken doll, so that's on brand. So
facts.
Touche. And I loved his I'm Just Ken performance. It was perfect. Like the call outs to freaking
Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Yes.
Gentleman Prefers Blondes, Marilyn Monroe. I adored it. And it was like so pitch perfect for everything that Barbie represented. Like it was irreverent and a lot of fun, but still executed really well.
Yeah, and I've been a fan of his since, kids used to watch like cartoons and TV shows like we used to. Do you remember when he was on the show that was on the boat? Was it Breaker High?
No, I go back as far as Young Hercules personally.
I remember him from the Mickey Mouse Club. I did have
that too.
An era of Mickey Mouse Club. And Christina and Brittany.
And I keep telling y'all, I didn't have cable, so I didn't get any of that.
You didn't have a neighbor next door?
They had stars.
You were deprived. I need to talk to your parents.
I know. It was UP and WB for me.
PBS too. You had
PBS Wishbone.
You didn't even get to watch Moesha for real.
I watched Moesha.
I thought Moesha was Disney for a long time.
No, UPN.
Okay, never mind.
Shout out to Detroit Channel.
I could have sworn it was
Happy
Disney,
313 Day.
Everything with these awards went smoothly, to your point, Delora. It was fun. We had some great performances. Even, getting the different songs performed live was fantastic. I love that for the major categories, you had actors and actresses who came out and did their intros for everybody. I thought that was lovely. I was like, is this going to take a long time, though? But they did it. They did it pretty concisely. And then the only thing that I feel like happens every year is there has to be a float with Best Picture. Al Pacino. I don't know if he got overwhelmed in the moment because he was excited to be there. Everybody else was excited to see him. But my guy did not even introduce the category or the other contestants. He immediately opened that envelope and said, "What my eyes are seeing is Oppenheimer."
Like, he didn't even say the winner is. Like, that was the bare minimum. Shout out to freaking Jane Fonda. She was probably the last one who did it well. And that was when Parasite won. But leave it to women to actually get it done. Right.
All right. Now that we have gone through our winners list and our top moments of the night, it is time, Jillian, for the fashion. So because you are our guest, I want you to go first and let us know what your best and worst from this year's Oscars were, and then your favorite all-time Oscars looks.
Okay, so I will say Zendaya, and whoever's, I'm gonna call her Zen Couture, okay? Because any couture piece looks phenomenal on her. I think that, she looked amazing. Florence Pugh or whatever with the wet look situation. Love the little water droplets. Maybe it's because I'm by the ocean or whatnot. I'm feeling some water. I love that as well. I saw a lot of safe looks with black.
Yeah, a lot of black.
Yeah, and I just was like, y'all are kind of like stale. What is it? Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. I love the iconic duo couples where your looks matched and coordinated with each other. Those were amazing. Coleman Domingo.
My boy.
When I tell you, I want to invite him to a function. Come over to my house for dinner. I want to
talk to him.
Like, how do you style your mustache? Like, I need to know everything from head to toe. That man has not disappointed me in at least 2
Louis
years.
Vuitton.
Yeah, yes. And Pharrell is getting his check.
The cowboy boots for me.
Yes, I wanted those. So he's best dressed man, hands down. I think the worst, Billie Eilish, honey, I understand that that's your ministry. But I think when Janelle Monáe realized that she had to deviate from what her ministry was to propel herself forward, I think it's time. Billie.
Ashley and I talked about that. We were like, the fact that she had that body underneath all those clothes all those years.
Yeah,
and now the titties are out.
Yeah,
you
she
know.
Well, didn't she dress beautifully to a Met Gala? That was like one of the first times she
one time.
went full glam and had this almost Marilyn Monroe-esque look. And you were like, wow, this is what you can do. Okay,
Mhm.
got you. Because, yeah, she does typically look like she's either wearing Tom Brown or something
Yeah.
she pulled out of her closet.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Tom Brown. I think there's a time and a place. I think she's kind of locked in to what this look is, similar to Janelle Monáe. She was walking that tightrope for a number of years. But I think in order for you to go
She
to
was
the
wearing
next,
Chanel though, not Tom Brown.
She was. I just
well,
say
I mean, but
usually
just the
that's the
aesthetic.
vibe.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it.
it's
Okay.
just it's the aesthetic that she's kind of got going on there. But yeah, it's just she's got to make another move because otherwise she's not gonna. I just don't see the longevity for me if I'm gonna keep looking at what I'm looking at.
I'm glad her hair was just one color.
True. Usually it's double dipped.
And don't
Yes.
get me wrong, I get it, but to me, that's a sign of maturity and growth. And let's not forget her iconic British Vogue cover, which was, I think she shook her fans so much that she just reverted back to the baggy clothes. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's when
But
she's comfortable.
true. I mean, I get it. Okay. Especially being a big booby girl is like, you don't want all the attention to.
I can't identify. I don't know that. I know nothing about it.
They
Mhm.
come out for special occasions, but not like all the time.
If I had them, I would be shaking them up. You wouldn't know what to do with me. I would just
Say that now until it's the neck and the shoulders for me.
I would
No.
be Charo. I would be Charo. Mhm. Yep.
Or Sophia Loren. I definitely listen. Give me some boobs. I think there's reasons why some people weren't blessed with some things. I think I'd go a little nuts too if I had
Don't
big
know how to
boobs.
act. That's why
Yep.
God said, we'll just give you these hips and this butt, but you don't know how to act. You'll be cutting up.
Your
All
all-time
time, I'm
look.
gonna have to go with Cher.
The
She
black?
does not, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Cher does not skip a beat. I live for her. I mean, even living for her now with with Amber Rose's man
She was
now.
she was wearing Bob Mackie.
Bob Mackie. Yeah. Bob. Oh, Lord help me, jeez. Yeah, Bob Mackie definitely is a phenomenal designer. I mean, Miley wore Bob Mackie to what was the last thing that just happened? The Grammys?
Grammys. It
Yeah.
was very 70s coded. Like it was giving a little bit of Tina Turner, a little bit of Cher in her aesthetic for sure. It was the abs for me with that Cher look back in 1986, y'all.
Listen,
That's why
yeah,
Cher's
Cher
still
said,
messing with the youngsters today.
and she got a good surgeon. I need their number because when gravity hits me and betrays me, I need to have somebody that I can rely on and trust.
I say that every time. I say
Yes.
whoever did Cher's face needs to do everybody's face. Like
She still looks like
Cher's
herself.
plastic surgery is A1.
Oh yeah, and it's A1. I've seen her in concert, and I said, "Oh, Mama is still giving us something to talk about."
And she keeping that skin tight too. I don't know. Put out the beauty routine, Cher. Put it out.
Yeah,
She's
drop
been
it.
wealthy for a very long time. I'm
That's
just
true.
throwing that out there because our favorite saying, Jillian, on this podcast is, "You ain't ugly, you just broke." You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's true. It's true.
We're getting there.
Gotta get this money.
Real quick
Yeah.
before I turn it over to Delora, do you have any favorite stylists that you just typically go for with any like red carpet?
So we have to go with the hometown team. Okay.
Period.
I definitely love Wayman and Micah. Okay.
Period.
So if I had a check, okay, a super check, because I know they're a super check, that's the way that I would go. I think number 2, I would go Luxury Law.
Period.
And then I would say number 3, I would actually find somebody who is not super well known. I would actually look at the graduating class of FIT and pick somebody from that graduating class and have some sort of contest or something. Just because I think that what happens with a lot of stylists is you have to work so many years underneath somebody else watching them get credit for it. Some of these people have worked 10, 15 years under people and not getting credit for it when it's really been their work.
Wow.
That's why I aborted the mission of styling, because I never wanted to get paid in television time when I lived in Atlanta, because television time doesn't pay the bills. And I never wanted to work under somebody for years and years, seeing my work going down the runway or getting photographed and one person getting credit for it when it was really me, the person that was there doing the fitting and all that other stuff. So
Gotcha.
that's my hot take.
Okay.
Very nice. Delora, what you got?
Yes. Okay. So my best of the night. I almost don't want to put it in any type of particular order because I genuinely enjoyed a lot of these looks. Okay. Shout out to Carrie Mulligan. Okay. And Balenciaga looking like a 1950s Barbie.
She
But
looked
Balenciaga
fantastic.
is still a little.
What'd you say?
The brands.
I know. They suck. I know.
It's still a little. It's torn in between the two. Okay. Yeah.
Agreed. Thank you, Jillian, for that call out. Zendaya, Armani Privé. One of my favorite sayings when it comes to Zendaya is the model girlies are lucky she's not a model.
Yep.
Kendall should thank God every day.
Kendall would be unemployed. Kendall would be swindled. Okay.
The Doom press tour alone.
Woo.
These girls would be out of work. She didn't even show up to Fashion Week this year. Did she? Any of them?
Yes, she was at the Paris Couture. Remember the?
Oh,
yes,
the Couture Week. That's true.
That's pushed because she's a couture girl. She's sample size. Like that's why she gives.
I really appreciated Lily Gladstone look because it was a collaboration between Gucci and an indigenous designer named Joe Big Mountain. So shout out to the heritage that she was able to display on the red carpet. Anya Taylor-Joy and Dior. I really loved the silhouette and the color. I thought she looked amazing. I have to say, I've enjoyed men more this award season than women, but for the Oscars, I only got 2 guys on my list. I have Coleman Domingo, Louis Vuitton, and I have Key, last year's winner, in Giorgio Armani. I thought he looked amazing. Now let's talk about Divine Joy Rudolph, styled by, you didn't like it. I like that she didn't hide. Like she took up space in that look. And I think she looked amazing. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't in love with the blonde wigs. She looked great. Right. But I always get disappointed when people want to do something fierce and they go straight to blonde. I'm like, it's giving Western ideations of beauty. So I'm like, switch it up, please. But I love the sleeves. Were they feathers or I forget? I don't know.
Ostrich might be missing all of its feathers.
It's custom.
All of them.
And can we talk about America Ferrera in Versace? The fact that she was wearing pink and Margot Robbie was wearing black, I was here for it.
Do you think Margot Robbie did that intentionally to let her have that moment because she was the nominee?
Yes and no. I think Margot might be over it.
Fair.
And I think America looked like a winner. Like that silhouette, the body was giving. Perfection. She looked amazing. I have a few shout outs. The cast of Wicked wearing their colors, Cynthia in her green and Ariana in her pink.
Can I just say though, I really wanted her to not wear a ponytail for once.
Her edges. Her edges. I feel for them. They have to be holding on by a thread at this point.
She was actually my worst dressed though. Ariana.
She was mine too. She was terrible. It's Charles Barkley would say. It was terrible. Tired of her.
I have 2 more shout outs. I felt like Jennifer Lawrence and Dior was very pretty. Not everybody can wear polka dots.
She looked
But
matronly to me. I thought it aged her.
ooh, great point. And then Issa Rae, and they said it's AMI Paris. She looked body yada yada. I know we don't have a lot of time, but can we talk about the looks on Vanity Fair though? Like,
Yeah, you can. I didn't go in depth with them. I caught them on IG, but Vanity Fair, Oscars party, people slay every
better than
year.
the actual red carpet.
Yeah.
And then some people weren't invited. So Quinta looked amazing in her dress. I'm always impressed when whatever she wears is able to elongate her look because she
Yes.
is
So
bitty.
tiny.
They struggle. People really struggle with styling her well because she ends up looking like sometimes the proportions are off. Because part of being a great stylist is understanding the individual's body and the proportions and down to their facial features and necklines. It's a lot of work that goes into it. So when they get it right for her, because she's so pocket size,
Yes.
it's a home run.
My favorite
Yes.
little Polly Pocket in Hollywood. She's
Yes.
adorable.
I'm gonna put her in my purse.
I thought Chloe and Halle looked great. Halle was in Off-White. Chloe was in this Robert Hume Couture. I'm like, more of this, Chloe. More of this.
Less of what you wore at what was that? The Christmas tree lighting.
Oh no, I
don't
didn't
know
see
if y'all
it.
I didn't see it either.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It was not.
I tend to like more of Halle's looks
Yes.
on the red carpets than Chloe's. A lot of times too, it's like Chloe does things with her hair that I don't think always accentuate her attire.
The look. Yeah, I agree. Jodie Turner Smith
Body.
in Gucci.
Body.
The skin.
The skin is always skinning. So I don't know what this woman takes a bath in, a shower. Is it just milk?
Is it exfoliation and then the shea butter? Like, I don't understand.
I'm living wrong because that woman, her skin looks like it is just made from just heaven.
Yeah.
Heaven.
I was sick for Joshua Jackson because if that's not a revenge moment, I don't know what is.
Like, okay, I see you got a new boo, but
don't forget.
Exactly.
Don't forget.
And we love Lupita, but
I was gonna say I feel torn because I adore Lupita and I want her to be happy, but damn, Kevin Hart.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'd be every day trying to figure out what does this woman do to get her skin looking like this. I would still, I'd be struggling.
Gorgeous. She was gorgeous. Any fashion picks of all time, Delora, before we wrap up?
Yes. Halle Berry.
Yes.
Elie Saab, 2002.
Yes.
I mean, phenomenal. And then I got two more. Rihanna in 2023. Aliyah. It was like sexy, but she was revealing her baby bump, all black, gorgeous. And our fave, Celine Dion in Dior, 1999. That
white
backwards.
Yep. Backwards white suit.
Unforgettable.
Yes. She knew what she was doing.
Exactly.
She knew what she was doing. I got one thing I do want to say about the Vanity Fair party. I'm gonna need people, women, this sheer trend, no bra.
The nipples.
If those girls aren't sitting where they need to sit and don't have the shape for that, please don't do that. Just don't do it. Leave it at home. It's not for everybody. I know where my limits are. I know what I can do.
So you calling out Charlie XOX?
I'm calling out people who don't know their limits. Okay. Like if stuff is not where it's supposed to be and don't do it. Just put a bralette on underneath. It'll be fine. It's great.
We're in such an era of like body positivity, right? Where it's like, yeah, go ahead and do your thing. But there's also such a thing as like, where your friends at to tell you, hey, this flatters you, flatters your physique, or this doesn't. And we all have those things, right? Where it's like, yeah, this looks really good on you. And then, yeah, you look a little crazy. So totally understand what you mean. Just to wrap up, my tops for the Oscars have already been mentioned. Carey Mulligan, Issa Rae, Zendaya. Speaking of the whole skin kiss, Issa Rae.
She's
Girl.
a close second.
Girl.
Yeah.
Jody be taking it gold, but
Girl.
Next level. Next
Yes.
level.
It's like the closer to the black of the shade of color, the more velvety these complexions seem to get. I'm like, why? I need to get more sun because I want that level of just like extra moisture.
Mhm.
Baby oil could never for me. So
could never.
But yeah, she looked fabulous. High slit and all. Okay. I remember when they were talking. Remember Angelina Jolie did the high slit? She ain't got nothing on Issa Rae. Let me be clear.
Let that thigh meat roam the pasture.
Exactly. And then my favorite picks of all time, Halle Berry, absolutely, when she won her Oscar. Also have 2 Zendayas on my list. One 2021 where she wore that yellow flowy cut out in the middle, hair beautiful. Loved it. And then when she wore that white crop shirt, the silver slinky skirt, it was so fresh. It was so youthful. I lived for it. And then I actually have an Amanda Seyfried on here. She wore this red tulle gown, Giorgio Armani. It was inspired by hibiscus flowers. It was so elegant and beautiful, but like very well structured. I just thought it was such a good look. They had a lot of the Vogue looks that I thought were hella boring. So I literally had to pull out the ones that I'm like, no, this was a look though. Like this was a moment. It wasn't just, freaking Nicole Kidman wearing an embroidered dress and calling that fashion. That does nothing for me. So those were my tops, ladies. But thank you so much, Jillian, for joining us for this chat.
I think my final thought was the PSA about the nipples and knowing your personal limits of your body. And yes, I think it's great to think that you look great, but I also am able to recognize when I don't look great, and maybe that trend is not for me. Thank you, America. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that public service announcement. Is there anything else you wanted to share just in terms of like where people can find you, anything that you are working on right now you want to talk to us about, anything like that?
Sure thing. You can follow me on Instagram. It's at @BeSocial with an E, the number 1 as well. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok. I don't really do X because Elon's a little different of a person, so I don't really fool with that too much. Unless it's Black Twitter. I love Black Twitter.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you again so much. Thank you for joining us on your Mexican vacation.
Thank you.
We so appreciate
thank you for having me.
We're so happy to have you. We look forward to having you again if you don't mind, because this was so much fun. I loved it.
A recap of the 5th of May. Is that when it usually is, or is it the first Monday? It doesn't matter if it's the 5th.
The first Monday in May.
There we go. I'm like, is it the 5th specifically or just first Monday? Okay.
And the chair people this year are like fire. You got J-Lo and Zendaya on the same.
And Zendaya was all I needed.
So. Yes.
But J-Lo is OG fashion.
It's not to say she's not. I'm saying Zendaya is the only name you would have had to give me. And I would be like, sold.
I was already sold. Yeah.
Sold.
I was already like sold.
Yeah.
They gave J-Lo because of her album that people forgot about.
And her visual
documentary.
Yeah.
Music video, which was doing too much. What they call it, a $20 million fever dream. Anyway.
You said it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. On that note, we'll wrap up this Headlines and Hot Topics episode. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. Please share this episode with your friends, family, loved ones, everyone. We appreciate it. We will be back with a recap of what, Delora, for next week?
Oscar-nominated film, Past Lives. It's in addition to our Women's Month. It was directed and written by Celine Strong. So I'm excited for this conversation.
All right. And representation as well. Full-blown, strong Asian cast. Korean, subtitled up in this film. Okay? So stick with us for that, guys. We'll be back. But in the meantime, as always, be blessed.
Bye.